my name is Jackie and today I have a review for you guys. How's it going, by the way? I hope the lighting's not too bad. It's kind of an overcast day here in LA. But anyway, let's get started with the review. Everything I Never Told You by Celeste. This is the story I'm going to be talking about. So, Everything I Never Told You About is the story of this family with 3 children. They're a Chinese American family living in the 1970s. The story starts with the fact that Lydia, the middle child, is dead. Nobody knows what happened to her, whether it was a homicide, suicide, accident. Nobody knows, because the fact is that Lydia was very reserved and she didn't tell anything what she was feeling towards anyone. She just wanted to please her parents. So she never told anyone about her life, what she wanted, etc. And the story revolves around them the family trying to figure out what happened to Lydia, what led to her death, and basically dealing with the psychology of the family, how the family is affected by the death of a member of the family, and them try to cope with it. We see a lot of the dark side of the family members, and it's unlike anything I've ever read before. It also deals with the themes of racism. As you know, during the 1970s, it just wasn't the best time for mixed race families in America. And we see a lot of the problems and conflicts that the family has in order to try and fit in to the society, and that is one of the biggest themes of this book. Also, another book is sexism and the role of women in male-dominated areas. So the mother in the family, she always wanted to be a doctor, but the fact is she was always told, oh, you can't be a doctor, you have to be a housewife, you have to know how to cook, clean, blah, blah, blah. But she always defied that theory and she wanted to be a doctor. Ironically, she ended up being a housewife, which she wasn't completely okay with. She said she was, but the fact is that she wasn't. And I give this book a 4 out of 5 stars because I really liked it in general, because I don't think I've ever read anything quite like it. And let me put it down for like a little bit. And it was really interesting to see the perspectives and the way the book is written. It goes through various times leading up to Lydia's death, and so we get to see these different perspectives and how the story unravels, and little by little we start figuring out why Lydia's death happened in the first place. So the reason why I took off 1 star, if you're wondering, is because in the beginning this family seems so disconnected to me. They don't communicate at all. Their communication is terrible, and it just didn't feel like a family to me. I had never seen a family like this, hence the title, Everything I Never Told You. But I think that is one of the biggest themes too in the book. And I think it was really strange to me that they didn't communicate at all. And that's what made them unhappy in the first place. You know what I mean? So that's why it's 4 out of 5 stars for me. But I definitely loved the story in general, the writing style, the plot. Everything was really good for me. And I definitely recommend it if you haven't read it yet and you're looking for like a mystery or something similar to that. Go ahead and read it and come back and discuss it when you're done, okay? That's it for the non-spoiler section. I'll go into further detail right now, so if you haven't read it, leave, and I'll see you later. Bye! Okay, for the spoiler section. So, who did you think was the reason in the beginning of Lydia's death? Like, did you think it was a homicide, suicide? I didn't know for sure. In the beginning, I thought that Jack had killed her, to be honest. But then as the book went on, we figured out that that's definitely not true. He wouldn't ever do that. And I was I didn't know if I had figured out that he was gay, and until Hannah told her part of the story. And then I was like, oh, he definitely didn't do it. So then I thought it was suicide, because later we get to see that she was so overwhelmed by her parents' influence. She was suffocated. She was dying on the inside, and she just didn't know what to do. And I was like, girl, let it out. Just talk. Just say everything you want to say. You know what I mean? So I thought it was suicide later, and then we find out in the end that it was an accident. So did you guys think that if she would have made it to the dock, would she have talked to her parents? Would anything would have changed? Personally, I don't think anything would have changed. She would have still kept being the way she was, because I think it was just too late for her to try and change who she was. This is such a critical age. She was 16. Such a critical age for trying to figure out who you are. And she just had no foundation of individuality in general because of her mother pressuring her with the books, the math, the classes. It was just so much that she didn't know who she was. She never had the chance to figure out who she was. And that was really, really sad for me. And then her dad, James, oh my god, he trying to force her to be this popular girl when he knows that there's a difference in her, and that it's not gonna be that easy to try to fit into especially into this time period. It was near impossible to try to fit into this society. And then there were so many secrets in this family, like, you know, when they explained that Marilyn left for that summer to try and convince herself that she could be a doctor, that she could accomplish her dreams. Like, why couldn't she just talk with James and tell him all these things, her aspirations, her goals in life that she had before she met him? I felt like that was such an important part of a relationship that it was what affected them a lot. It separated them because she wanted to be different. She wanted to go into this field being a doctor in a male-dominated area. And James was the complete opposite. He wanted to blend it as much as possible, even though he physically didn't blend in. So that kind of bothered me a lot, that she couldn't just talk to him and be like, can you take care of the kids for a little bit? You know, work it out, do something. So I think one of the problems with this family's biggest problems in general was when Marilyn left, because that's when Lydia made her promise that she would do everything her mother asked, make her as happy as she possibly could. And that was one of the biggest problems that I felt that led to Lydia's death and her suffocation as a person. The family centers so much around Lydia that it's kind of like, it's overwhelming. More than overwhelming, it's like suffocating. And they're constantly ignoring Hannah and Nath. And I just feel like really bad for them growing up in this family and witnessing them just being ignored all the time, not being listened to. Hannah, she was so small. She needs like her parents' guidance. And in the end, I'm glad that Marilyn was able to figure out everything and go to Hannah and realize her mistakes that she did with Lydia so that she didn't have to do them again with Hannah. And Nath was he was such a good person and so smart. And obviously, I really like that everything was resolved in the end. It gave a clear finish to the story, and it gave this message of hope. Like, it's not okay all right now, but it will be in the future. You know what I mean? So I think that is it for my talk today. I feel like I've rambled on enough, and I have a concert to go to later today, so I'm excited. I can't even begin to tell you. If you love the 1975, give it a thumbs up. Give it now. Okay. yeah, hope you enjoy the rest of your day and read Everything I Never Told You by Celeste. Okay? Hasta luego, amigos. Bye.